Well, so you're so crazy that you do this whole beautiful house.
I am a little crazy.
And you were an attorney before, so this really kills me. And then you've written a book. I can't even imagine. So how did this come about to write a book? It's just and to actually make it a book with
Yeah, it's a book
gorgeous.
with like a hardcover. It's crazy. Who knew? Well, I started a blog about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's called My Soulful Home, and it's about home and garden. Mm-hmm. And there's been so many things that have come to my life as a result of that, which I never would have imagined. So,
like what?
So I now have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I have an app, and then I was asked to write this book.
What's your app?
My app is called Be Home.
Mm-hmm.
And
B-E-E or just B?
B and then H-O-M-E.
Oh, just the letter.
Just the letter.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a play on Be Home and Busy Bees and all that kind of good stuff. But it's myself and about 55 other bloggers. So I curated, my husband and I created it together. And we have some brands on there that we really admire, and there's a few magazines. So it streams everyone's content. So blog posts and Twitter and your Pinterest and all of that.
Oh my gosh, we have to look this up.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no dot
too.
Okay, it's just Be Home.
Be Home.
Okay.
And then I put out a weekly newsletter, which will feature some of the bloggers each week. We do feature about 7 different blogs and Pinterest
you're good.
feeds. Yeah, so that comes out on Saturday mornings. But my blog started, it was actually a gift to myself that I gave myself on my birthday in January 2013. I had been writing, and I always loved to write. I was an English major. I even like to write legal stuff, and I love to do home stuff. But I always thought that was something you did, on the weekends, or you did, frantically at night after you came home from
Well,
work.
how I do it on Wednesday night.
Right, Wednesday night to night, right? So I thought, I didn't really do that. And then I thought, well, maybe I could really do that. And I'm just going to start sharing stuff that I did. And it was much craftier in the beginning.
Right.
And my kids were littler then, so
Right.
I did more crafty things.
I took every class in this town that they offered. Like the lined basket, the fabric where you just made like a big circle and then you put a zigzag thing with a string. You could gather it and a hot glue gun.
Yeah, hot glue gun.
Oh my god! And then my husband's the little cardboard that comes in his shirts. You take that out and cut the bottom.
Repurpose it.
Oh my gosh! And I make breads for my neighbors. I mean, my mother-in-law still has that basket I gave her. Really, honestly, 25 years ago in the guest bathroom. I always think like that was such a time ago. I took a knitting class. I've taken. I just get on these jags of crafts. So yeah, our crafting has evolved.
So my crafting has evolved to much more of
sophisticated
home design.
Yes,
and then I had the opportunity to meet all these amazing women. Well, you included, right?
Well,
you kind of came right to my door, which
right.
was so fabulous. You served yourself up on a platter to me.
Right.
But through blogging, I found all these women from all over the place. I mean, some from Australia, and certainly all over the United States. And all of these women either reinventing themselves into bloggers and writers and photographers and editors and brands of themselves,
and
and learning how to market themselves and make a living doing that. It was
we had somebody that was
inspiring.
She became a metal worker and she made me spurs. And she sent me this, and
That's
then,
so nice.
but I thought they were actually to put on boots, and I tried to put them on, and I have these red boots with white polka dots. And it was really well, I couldn't get them on because they didn't fit, and so at my work, the prop guy, I said to him, so I'm like, can you stretch these out a little bit for me to, and so he did, and some of those silver letters popped up. There were some issues, so we ended up sending them back to the girl, but she said she never thought I was actually going to wear them. They really were more like to go to a trophy case. I just didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, who would know?
Yeah.
Well, they are wearable, but she just didn't stretch them out or size them for your boots.
Oh, okay.
But they're very cool. So, and then didn't she say that? So she also made me a dog tag that has like a sort of a cowgirl with the polka dot boots on. Super cute. And didn't she say she started doing that
so she
now?
started a business, and I helped her. We did a little branding exercise, and
Mandy's the crazy one that will make people anything, a card,
we
a
helped
business
her
flyer or something.
name her company because she was like, "What do I want to do?" And we talked, and her grandfather's name was Clementine, and she had been inspired by your whole kindness thing, and so her company's called Clementine Kind, and she does metal like jewelry, buckles,
That's very cool.
spurs if you need them.
I've heard of her.
Really?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know how, but that name is very distinct.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, and then I did a little logo for her, and
See, Mandy's amazing. She's
That's
amazing.
so cool.
Whenever somebody tells me they have something, I'm like, you have to call Mandy because she knows how to make things happen.
She can make that happen.
She'll make it happen. I mean, she's the one that actually convinced me to do the blog. And my daughter was
That's
like,
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Making it happen and having the confidence or somebody to give you the confidence and the little boost that you need to start going. Because once you start going, your little snowball starts to pick up snow, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden, I mean, now I have this podcast with 2 bloggers who I was like,
have you met them in person?
I've met them in person, but only twice in all the years that I've known them. So I met them when I first started blogging, and they were very well established at that point. And I was just in awe of their photography and, oh my goodness, and all the comments they would get. So obviously they had all these readers, and, I had like my mom and like some lady in Oklahoma and like my best friend reading my blog, and that was it. And so I looked up to them as mentors, but now over the years we've become friends. Just because we're in the same business. And then when I had the idea to start a podcast, those are the 2 that I wanted to bring into it.
When is the podcast on, and how do people find that?
Well, you can go to my website for it, our website for it, which is www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com. And so you can listen right there. And lots of times we embed it in our blogs and whatnot. But you can just go on iTunes. It's completely free. Or however you listen to podcasts. If you're not a podcast person, it's super easy to start. There's so many services. So if you're not on an Apple phone, there are different ways to listen. Overcast, Stitcher, there are all these apps that allow you to then access the podcast. So you basically just go into the iTunes or one of these other services, and you can just put in decorating, and it comes right up. There's not that many decorating podcasts, really. A lot of the podcast space is filled with men and technology, current events, things like that. So there's not that many people doing
so
what
interesting.
we do.
I didn't know any of that. I don't really listen to podcasts normally, but I'm going to look you up for sure.
My husband listens to podcasts all the time, and that's, his industry is really, podcasts are really hot for his industry, like all these geeky podcasts and whatnot. And so he was encouraging me to. And one of the women that I do it with was an avid podcast listener, and one of my best friends was an avid podcast listener. And, everyone's heard of Serial and all of that. So
Adnan.
Yes.
Yeah, it drove my husband crazy. We all listened to that.
Yes. Yeah. So, that sort of made it a little bit more commonplace podcast. But people still don't really 100% get it. Love it. And you have so much fun. And it's almost like an opportunity to go have coffee with your friends. Because we record once a week, but we'll do 3 episodes at a time.
Right.
And half the time we are laughing so hard. But people say they can't. That one lady just left a comment. It was so sweet. And I thought it really sort of encapsulates what's happening. And she said, every time I listen to you / my girlfriends, you leave me with a smile on my face and an idea in my head.
Isn't that great?
Because we give tons of tips about decorating and design.
I have to get on this. This is right up my alley.
Oh, yeah.
I had thought a long time ago, because I had a house that had this really pretty porch like this, and I thought it would be a really cool thing to do. You might think about this with your people that you're involved with, is get, like you were saying, you have friends that or like these ladies that you do your podcast with, is you have the people in the different sections of their life and whatever, and everybody's input on, and probably you're already doing this on the podcast, but to just talk about all things, because I think for women, not enough people do that, to talk about what the different phases that we're in.
Oh, I
was just saying to Mandy that I was talking to my daughter about her love life yesterday, or love, not love life, and then my mother too, and we have the 20-something and the 80-something, or almost 80, and me in the middle or whatever, but it just goes on forever, and in the different phases you're in.
Yes.
And you're still in such the mix with your girls in high school, and you said there's one of your pod ladies are their kids are grown or whatever, and which by the way is the best time of your life, really.
That's what Yvonne says too.
Yeah, it really is.
And now she has 2 grandbabies.
Yeah, that's
so
probably
she's
really
like,
the best. Right.
So many people are reinventing themselves, want to reinvent themselves, and even with our little podcasting group, I was an attorney.
Right.
Anita was an engineer. Yvonne was a school teacher.
That's how you guys all know how to get on that podcast together. Like I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Oh no.
How do you link the phones together?
That's a whole other thing, and I have to say, Peter helped my husband, because he's so techie. He helped us tremendously get going. So we definitely had a leg up in our technology. Right. We call him our tech team. Mm-hmm. So our tech team was really
Everybody
on
needs
top of
one.
it. Everybody needs one.
Yeah.
And he would tell us honestly, no, your sound quality's not good enough. Try again. Go back in and do it. But it took us about a month, and we got that all down, and now it's absolutely a breeze, and we have so much fun, and we put out 3 a week.
All right, we're gonna look it up.
So fun.
So let's talk about your book. So
it's Friday somewhere.
I can't believe you do this, mainly because I always think I'm a totally functioning illiterate person, but this is amazing. So tell me about this book that you wrote. This is just the craziest thing.
Well, I got an email. I get tons of email. You probably get tons of email too. There's so many times. If you're
on my phone, even it says on there 15,000.
Too many emails.
15,000. Right? I don't even know what to do this. So it's so far gone.
I know. Just give up, right? But you get a lot of emails when you're a blogger because people like, oh, I wrote an article about composting and I thought maybe you'd like to use it. Like I get a lot of emails like that. And then you get your important emails and things like that. So I get this email. It's very cryptic. We found your blog. We love your writing and your photography, and wanted to know if you'd be interested in writing a book with us.
Wow.
It was so I thought, this is a joke. Like, I remember years ago, when I was in high school, you would get something in the mail and it'd be like, who's who in America's high schools, and you'd be like, look, Mom, she said, if you pay $249, I can be in this book, and they picked me, and so I thought this is one of these things, or one of those fake beauty pageants or something like that.
Or that
like,
modeling.
You have to pay, right? Like you only have to get $1,500 of modeling lessons and pictures, right? So I figured, and I said, what do I have to lose? So I was very cryptic back. I was like, oh yes, well I'd be interested. Send me the details. And so this turns out to be a lovely young lady, emails me back and says, well, that's wonderful. We're really hoping to work with you. I'm going to put you in touch with our acquisitions editor. And I was like, okay. And so far she hasn't asked me to pay for anything or anything. Right. And suddenly I'm on a Skype call with this really great guy, and he was going to be my editor or publisher.
Wow.
And apparently they had found my blog. He knew so many of my posts. I love the one about this, and I never knew what an heirloom tomato was. Thanks for that, and you're just very informative, and we loved what you've done with your house. And they are a publisher who they started to branch out. So they were trying to find a home and garden blogger, and then they wanted to write a book with a homeschool blogger. So they were trying these different niches in effect. And so I really kind of had my druthers with it. I told him what I wanted to. He said, what do you want to write about? And my house wasn't done. And so I didn't want to have the stress of like, come on, get that tile up. I got to book a deadline. So my other passion is floral design. I just love flowers, and I love the garden.
Have you ever taken a class?
No.
That's on my bucket list.
I'm self-taught. Come over, I'll teach you.
Okay,
read my book. Here.
I'm going to. I'm going to read it. I'm so excited.
You don't need a class.
And I want to talk about the tomatoes too.
So anyway,
my existence.
We started, it was sort of November-ish, and around Christmas time, I sent him the outline and the chapters and what I thought I would want to do. And so the way it's My Soulful Home, A Year in Flowers is the name of the book, and the way it's set up is I talk a lot about how you choose flowers, how you care for them once they're cut, a cutting garden, which are good things to put in a cutting garden, and I have lists of that. Yes. And then I do a tutorial for every month. So, it sort of goes along.
I will love this, and I will do it.
Yeah, so it's fun.
Because
you're a crafty
when
girl.
When I get the flowers from Trader Joe's, I just learned that to take them out of the thing and just, because that helps. Because when you go like this, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work, right? And then you go to the flower mart, and
I always want to take a flower arranging class, and I was driving somewhere, I think like out on Allen or something over there by the freeway, and I think it said something about like that, like maybe it was a flower school or something, I don't know what, and I was just like, I should pop in there.
No, you're done. So like this is May, so you have the luscious pinks and peonies and ranunculus and stuff like that, and then we do the other.
It's a good thing you got out of being a lawyer, because that you were just.
I know, right? And then I guess this is October, so they just loosely goes with the months, but everybody's going to be able to find different flowers, and so this is. You could do them flower by flower, step by step, or you could just use it as a springboard to your own design. So just also like there's one in the teacups, just stuff people might not think about putting flowers in. Right. And then how to take care of them. And it's so simple, but like you're saying, plonk, and without the fresh cut, they're going to die.
What's the secret? I've always wondered this. What's the secret with hydrangeas? Because you get them and you always want to freshen up the bottom on all flowers. I do that. But so many times then they're just completely wilt. Yeah. And sometimes they don't. And I've heard all kinds of different stories about it. So what's the trick?
Yeah. It's a woody stem. Right. So some people have the thought of smashing the stem. That. No.
Don't do it.
No, because the whole idea with flowers is you want to get the water up. Right. So if you damage the channel that brings the water up, which is what you do when you smash it, it's not going to work. Right. That's why you should also use floral shears, which are designed differently than scissors or pruners, so they don't crush it, so that the water channel is left open.
Good to know.
Yes. So you want to do that, and then it is true with hydrangeas. sometimes they just die fast, and no matter what you do, maybe they weren't freshly cut, but alum, it's almost looks like cream of tartar, you know, and it's like kind of that in any sort of regular grocery store or Ralph's or something like that, they will have that. And it's alum? Alum. And it's in the sort of spice section. I'm not even sure exactly what you use it for, but it's like cream of tartar, like one of those weird ones, like you'd use it for one thing.
Right.
But it does work.
How much you put
dip
in?
it in.
Oh.
You dip the stem
in the powder?
You dip it in, and then you put it in the water.
Oh, interesting.
And it does help preserve it.
I'm going to definitely try that.
Try it.
Because just recently I bought some, and they looked beautiful. So I just took them out and put them in the thing, and I didn't cut the bottom. I didn't mess around with the bottom because I just thought, these look really good, and I know whatever's going to happen is going to ruin it.
Exactly.
And they did. They lasted. They were fine.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is just, they're happy.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a good day at Ralph's.
Right. Or, you know, sometimes if they cut them early, it depends on how much sun they had. Even if you're cutting them from your own garden, try to do it in the morning, not in the afternoon, because
I never cut them from my garden because I always liked them in my
I
garden.
know. Well, that's the thing. Well, that's why I talk about in here about having a dedicated cutting garden, because you're going to have more flowers in a concentration area. Because if I went out and I picked here and I could say, oh, it looks so pretty, but now I'm like Edward Scissorhands. Like, that doesn't look pretty, and now I have an amazing
Where you're
side.
thinking where you looked in the backyard where you're going to put in your vegetable garden, are you going to put a specific spot for flowers?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have ones that you are growing just for cutting.
Right.
And so, since you mentioned heirloom tomatoes, I have to ask you, have you had success with tomatoes? Because I try to grow them every year, and I'll tell you, one of the problems is in this town, the squirrels are crazy. And I have some espaliered apples and different things, and I'll see the guy with the apple in his mouth, and I'm just like, ugh! And I can't have peaches and things like that because they take them all.
Yeah.
So, but tomatoes every year, and I have a really pretty raised bed that I had done with this lady and a handyman. And I try to grow tomatoes and stuff, and I never get the big, fabulous ones like my aunt and uncle. The ones that my aunt and uncle grew in. They grew in North Carolina, and they were amazing. I've never been able to get them, and I don't know what the secret is. I don't know why that's happening.
I have to say, I had better tomatoes in Southampton than I did here.
Yeah, on the East Coast. Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Here. But I think what I'm going to do is see how you built the cage vibe on the one side. I might do like that, velvet and linen thing is cage in my whole vegetable garden. I mean, they did it for their chickens and their goats and things, but
then you have to get pygmy goats.
I think I might get goats. I was thinking I didn't really want chickens, but they look so cute in there. But then somebody told me they really eat all the vegetables.
Some of them, I don't know, make those pastel eggs.
Yeah, beautiful. My sister has all the chickens. Beautiful. Yeah, it's really great. But I want to master the good tomato, and I try every year. People told me so many different things. I put a banana peel in the soil. I've done the egg shells. I don't know what the secret is.
No, but that is, anytime you're amending your soil, and I have a blog post about that. It was one of my first blog posts, my 3 secrets, which is not such a big secret, but the coffee grinds, crushed eggshells, and a banana peel. I put that in every single container plant.
Of any plants?
Yes, if I'm doing a container garden, it's going in there. And I also mix in I don't really put in a banana peel if I'm just going to amend my soil, but I will do the coffee grinds almost daily. I go out, take the French press, and I just put it in there. Anytime you're amending your soil, you're doing a good thing. And the tomatoes, I would say, we could look this up because I'm going to start doing them too, and I didn't have great success in San Marino. Let's find the ones that grow the best here, because when you put the right plant in the right place, you're already giving yourself a leg up.
Right. Okay.
Right? So many times, I tried to grow a certain
We're coming back when you started to plant that tomato. I'm coming over.
Award-winning tomato.
Yeah. I once grew pumpkins. They say if you get your pumpkins in before June 15th, you'll have them for Halloween. Right. And I had this really cool vegetable garden. I have to tell you where this was later, but these pumpkins were great. And then I let them shoot a commercial at my house. And when they were done and the house was all clean and everything, and they said, how'd it go? I go, well, fine, except for somebody took my pumpkins. And the guy goes, well, we'll bring you back some pumpkins. No problem. I go, no, but I've been growing those since June. Yes, somebody just did and took them, and it was horrible.
Oh.
And the guy didn't get it. He was like, "Oh, let's go to the Vons and get you." I'm like, I don't even want them.
I give birth to these pumpkins.
Exactly. All right. Well, this book, is it out now? Can you get it on Amazon or something?
Yeah. It's out. It's been doing really well.
But it's so exciting.
Well, I have a lot of really nice blogger friends too.
You're the most amazing hair too. Doesn't amazing?
Well, thank you. But it's been doing pretty well. Just organically on its own.
That's so great.
Yeah.
What book do you think you'll do another book?
I would love to do another book. We're actually talking about maybe doing a book that might podcast crew. Nina and Yvonne and I may be doing a book together, but I would love to do a book about this house because I think it's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting, and plus you have so many things about what's his name? Dean that lived here.
Yeah, and
that's such a cool thing.
Because it's on the National Register and because it was moved a few times and all that, it's kind of has an interesting history. I don't think there are any ghosts here. If they are, they're very friendly. So I think the house is definitely happy now that she needed. I say she's, the house is a little old lady. I mean, she's been around life, so she needed a little bit more than just a spa day. So we did a deep cleanse, and we did all and we got her pipes in order and her electric detangled.
The ghost would be somebody from the past that wasn't happy with what you did, but they're probably very happy with what you did.
Pretty happy.
I lived in a house that was, I think it might have been in the 1890 something or 1900, but people always said the house was haunted. And I was just like, I've never noticed it. So, but then when weird little things would happen, like you're reading a newspaper and it's like, oh my God, I can't really see this, and the light goes on, you're like,
oh.
But it might have been electrical. It might have been an electrical thing, right? So,
but that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to do that, but I loved the process of writing a book. And what I got to do in writing a book about flowers is go to the LA Flower Mart and come home. I mean, I couldn't put one more stem in my car.
Right. You had to do all these.
Yeah. So 3 big trip. So you would go, and it was kind of like my fantasy. Like you could just go spend what you need to spend to get what you need.
Right.
But then I'd come home and I'd just have all these flowers around, and I would spend the afternoon
so pretty too.
creating.
I always tell people fresh flowers, dimmer switches, and candles.
Dimmer switches,
babe.
Yeah.
We built a house once, and I had a huge upcharge on the dimmers, and my husband was like, "What is up with that?" I go, "We're getting older. We need to dim the lights."
Oh yeah.
Because I was once at a dinner party when the woman was quite a bit older. And she had all candlelight, and she was doing something, and I was across the room, and I thought, she's so beautiful. And in the daylight, she's super wrinkly. Right. But it was like, I think you got to dim all the lights a little bit.
Yeah, dim all the lights.
Yeah.
Life is better on dimmer.
But fresh flowers make it. And when I was growing up, my mother would have all those sort of plastic ferns and things, and she'd sort of shove them on bookcases because she thought that warmed up someplace. Right. But because of that, I have a total phobia for fake indoor, whatever. So, and to this day, she has like some fake sunflowers that she needed to put up on the, top of her.
Yeah. All in the top of the cabinet.
And her assisted living, she's got to still have her thing. It's very cute. Anyway, this has been so much fun. And when you do your tomatoes, I want to come back.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
And when you write your next book.
Oh yeah. Well, let's have cocktails in the barn one day.
And that too. We'll get the girls together too and have a conversation.
That'd be so fun.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank
so great.
You.
So great.
Thank you
so get this
much.
book. This is amazing. I can't. This is my coffee recipe. I love it. Okay.
The things I used to do ever since the day I was